Hey, how's it going, art nerds, and welcome back to a video on a channel on a website that hosts billions of other videos. Welcome back to the DD Mark channel. And in this video on which you watch on this day that the good Lord has made, it's that time again. Yes, my lovely viewers, the time has come where I have something to say. And y'all may or may not know this, but they're my favorite type of videos to make. These videos where I have something to say are the ones where I've recently made some discovery, had some epiphany, or had a learning moment in my personal art journey or whatever. And because my mommy taught me sharing is caring and good boy share, I decided to share them with you, and they always turn out to be my personal favorite video on my channel in some way. So yes, that's what we're going to be doing today, art nerds. I, Diddy Dying of Exhaustion Mark, have recently done some reflecting, especially since one of the most commonly asked questions that I get from you all, and I genuinely mean this by the way, it's one of, if not the most frequently asked question by you guys to me. So yeah, anyways, I've done some reflecting to find answers and things I want to say in this video in response to the question that you all seem to beat me over the head over and over again with, and that question is, y'all say, sometimes I don't have the motivation to do what I need to do, or I want to do what you do, Diddy Mark, but I just don't have the determination. How do you draw for so long? How do you make the time? There's a million other things I want to do. I always find myself just playing video games or watching anime or whatever. Can you teach me how you're able to commit yourself so much? Blah 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 blah. Yeah, you get the picture. That's one of the most common questions that I get asked from you all, my artist viewers. And if you read the title, depending on which title I decided to go with, you may or may not know at least one of my responses to this question, but that's not even half of it. So enough chitty chat, come with me as we explore why the key to success as an artist is delusion. Okay, so really quick, let me paint a picture for you. It's 2011, location Lagos, Nigeria, and there's me, specifically there's 11-year-old me. Now the thing about 11-year-old me was, and this is something I don't tell people quite often, the childhood I had, because of how rough things were for us meaning my family, I found I had to grow up way faster than everyone else. So at the age of 11, when I was worrying about poverty, which if you haven't noticed isn't something an 11-year-old should ever be worried about, but anyways, when I was worried about this was a time where there was no prospect of a good future for me or my siblings and family. This was a time where all odds were pointed to me just growing up to be some street kid or end up a poor farmer in some village in Nigeria, or worse, I just amount to nothing in life and die and be forgotten. So yeah, in the midst of all this doom and gloom and stuck smack in the middle of hopelessness, you want to know how we made it out of that? Where I'm now in a position to be able to dream of a future? It's all delusion, baby. Let me make it clearer for you, okay? In that situation I was in, no normal everyday human would have worked towards, not to talk of even dream of getting out of something like that. I mean, there was no point. At that time, it seemed more than impossible. It felt like a losing fight trying to get out of there and be something better. But not for us, not for my family. We, and especially my parents, always fought for things that were so far out of their reach, and I just couldn't help but pick up that same desperation and delusion that they had. So yeah, enough of my sappy ass childhood, okay? Hopefully, you're starting to get a clearer picture of the image I was just trying to paint for you with that example of my backstory. And the reason I tell you art nerds all that garbage is because I have a theory, and it's a little theory, one that has yet to be deemed incorrect from what I've seen in my personal experience, and I'll tell you what it is, okay? Here it is. Every human that has ever attained the title of great or greatness is delusional in some way. See, the reason I go as hard as I do is because I've deluded myself into thinking I'm competing with the best of the best. Like, I'm serious. Goofy ass, lame ass Diddy Mark and his oh so shitty chicken scratch Chinese cartoon drawings seriously and genuinely believes people like Yusuke Murata, Tatsuki Fujimoto, Eiichiro Oda, Gege Akutami, Boichi, Naruki Urasawa, whoever, are his rivals. That's my secret. If you want to know, that's my drive. I don't have Fujimoto or Toriyama or Inoue on a pedestal like everyone else. I mean, yes, I respect them and their work, but unlike every other person I have met, including people I know who do what I do, I'm the only person who sees them as peers. When I sit down to work, when I sit down to draw and write and create, I'm not trying to compete with mutuals on social media or even semi-pro manga artists. You know, those guys are cool and all and I love them, but it's not enough. When I sit down, I genuinely think to myself, how can I get better than these greats? I ask myself, what makes their work so good, and how can I take that, use it, and create something that's just as amazing, if not better myself? This is how I approach manga, with fierce competitiveness. I've never said that out loud before, and if you're watching art nerds, you must be thinking, is this crazy? Only just a little, but it's more so delusion than crazy. See, great artists who have the most ambition are deluded because they fight tooth and nail for the fattest maybe of all time. See, most people, including most artists, are more rational and will usually only aim for things that are safe or reasonably achievable. But nah, fam, I'm trying to do the impossible. And I think people we call the greatest anything have had that drive and mentality as well. Not that I'm destined to be great or whatever, it's probably quite the opposite. But I'm simply studying from and copying the behaviors of those who I deem to be better than me, or that I would like to be like, because obviously they know something I don't, right? Now, I'm not saying be delusional just to be delusional. We've seen girls on TikToks trying to manifest stuff by entering cheat codes into universe and shit to see that garbage doesn't work. When you boil it down to the basics, what I'm saying about delusion is exactly what that famous saying says. Shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars. It's corny, but it's straight fat facts, okay? Which goes to show when individuals like myself or any great artist you know have overly high expectations of themselves, they usually work themselves to the bone trying to meet those unrealistic expectations. So at the end of the day, even if they don't meet them, they'll still end up in a place far beyond everyone else's perceived expectations of them. You get me? So yeah, how do I do what I do? How am I able to dedicate 14 hours a day every single day, 7 days a week to my craft? How is it that I can push myself to release a chapter every single month? How is it that I've made hundreds of failed projects but continue to keep making more and more and more? Well, it's because I'm, to be very honest, a little not so little delusional as hell. But as I hinted earlier in the video, that's simply not all to the story. Well, what's the rest of the story then, you may ask? Well, I say to you, hold on to your tidy whities, I'll tell you. And apologies as I put on my big boy disappointed dad type voice, okay? Look, art nerds, to be honest, I'm tired of that. How are you able to do this question? How do you make enough time for that? How are you able to be so consistent? Ugh, shut up. To me, and I don't know if this is a douchebaggy thing to think this, but it's a disrespectful ass question to me. Like, if you want it bad enough, you'll make time for it. What a stupid question to me. I'm so sorry, but it's such a dumb question. Maybe because I'm me and I know what it feels like to have the passion that I do, so I know I would never ask a question like that. Like, it's really simple. If you want it bad enough, you'll make the fucking time for it. So if you find yourself goofing off, playing video games and doing everything else except what you claim you feel you need to be doing, then newsflash, buddy, you don't want it bad enough. And that might be hard to hear, but you're most probably just a fan, someone who just consumes the content, not make it. Sorry, not sorry, not everybody is meant to be a creator. Some people are just meant to consume. And if you're saying, well, I have school and a job and 7 kids, I mean, yeah, I get it, but then I'm also not gonna let that slide either, because the sentiment is the same. No matter how busy you are, if you want it bad enough, believe me, you'll make time. I promise you that. I was a full-time student in college. I had an actual job. I had research projects. I maintained a very healthy, exercise-filled lifestyle, and I was in a whole relationship, and I still made time. And even if I had 3 kids and was a stay-at-home dad, best believe I'm gonna be sat right there next to the crib, rocking the little motherfucker to sleep with one hand while I'm drawing Sasuke hitting the fattest Chidori with the other. So to circle back to the video topic, yes, wanting it bad enough is important, as I just said, but the reason people like Michael Jordan for basketball, Mr. Beast for YouTube, Kanye West for music, J.K. Rowling for writing, achieved what they achieved, and they always talk about their mentalities and stuff, so go watch and read their interviews, but the reason they achieved what they achieved is because they had an obsessive delusion towards their craft. And I know nothing is guaranteed, but depending on what your personal art goals are, my fellow art nerds, maybe you should too. I know I do. Thank you all for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. If you made it all the way to the end, you must be built different if you did. Anyways, shout out to my beautiful patrons for supporting me and supporting this channel. They are the reason I've got an actual roof over my head and not a cardboard box. If you yourself want to support me on Patreon, the link to everything you'll need is in the description down below. And yeah, don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button as well, because that helps out the channel. And last but not least, don't forget to leave a comment, because I read all and respond to most comments. So next time, art nerds, it is I, Delusional Mark. Peace and love, baby.